we've got a 20-minute video from Carl Jobst on Osu's biggest cheater who was finally caught. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I wasn't really familiar with Carl Jobst. I don't watch gaming videos, I think he makes sort of documentaries. From what I've been told, it's mostly around speedrunning and things of that nature. He did cover many different cheating scandals. This is interesting because when this got posted on the Osu Game Reddit, it was almost like a very important moment for the community where apparently the game is getting some mainstream attention, and I can see that because in one day this video is at 700,000 views. And from what I can see, it already has a sponsored section, but that's besides the point. Without further ado, it's time for Osu's biggest cheater was finally caught by Carl Jobst. Let's go.
Legends. Osu is huge. It's easily one of the most popular rhythm games of all time, boasting millions of active players and supporting one of the most dedicated and passionate communities you'll ever find. And because the community is so large and so dedicated, the natural result is a very competitive scene at the top level with truly unbelievable levels of skill being...
BTMC helping Carl Jobst on this. Please, put the round table in there. Put it in there. At the beginning, when attention is up. I get it, Eduardo. We gotta promote the event, okay?
Every time I cover a new game, I'm blown away by how good the best players are. But with Osu especially, I just can't wrap my mind around how these people do what they do. Anyone within the top 1,000 and even beyond is extremely talented. But as you get nearer to the very top, players become...
I'm not top 1,000 anymore. I'm no longer talented in the eyes of the mainstream gaming community. Damn it. I mean, he did say beyond. Come on now. It's not that bad. Don't even remember my rank. 1.3k. Come on. We are there. We are very close to being the top gamers.
We will get into the specifics of gameplay shortly, but for me personally, it doesn't matter how many replays I watch, my brain just isn't fast enough to keep up with what's going on. When it comes to cheating in Osu, the community is also extremely vigilant. There are entire sub-communities devoted to finding and weeding out suspicious players, and there are a...
Raid Shadow Leg. I mean, with a nickname like that, you gotta be cheating.
Bunch of different methods players have tried to use in the past to fake their way up the ranks. Over the years, anti-cheat detection has improved tremendously, which is what...
Are you sure? Can someone send me that one clip of... You know what I'm talking about, right? Guys, look at this. This man is about to pop off. This man ain't banned. This man ain't banned. Believe it or not. This man is replay submitting a play with a real nonchalance. No problems whatsoever. He's resting, he's checking his DMs on stream, and he didn't get banned or restricted or silenced.
Over the years, anti-cheat detection has improved tremendously, which is why it had been almost a decade since a top-ranked player was exposed for cheating.
Almost a decade. That is not very accurate, Carl Jobst, but maybe we are playing the YouTube game, you know, we gotta make it a bit more intense for what's about to come. I kinda get it. Recent cases of top players getting restricted other than cloutiful. Obviously there's Fia for OWC, though not really a top player. Big controversy with Whitecat, although he wasn't actually banned for cheating. Spare was a big one. Kutafix, Morgan, probably some Korean players. I don't remember the nicknames anymore, but there is plenty of top players in Osu who have been banned in the last 10 years. But I'll give it the benefit of the doubt that this meant at the top as in top 5, top 10, like the very top best of the best of the best, who also had a lot of social media presence and wasn't just a mysterious 2-digit or mysterious 3-digit player.
All top players are expected at some point to prove their skill with the use of hand cam, and live play videos are studied down to the frame to ensure
One day, guys. One day.
there is no foul play. But there was one particular player, one cheater, who managed to slip through the cracks and work their way up to almost the very top of the ranks, eventually reaching third. The reason they made it this far was because they were good, and I mean they were genuinely a really good player.
Okay, for the record, I don't think Nahus cheats, but, you know, I don't think he has produced a good live play yet. So, that's what I was referring to, okay? Let's not... No pitchforks out. I love Nahus. Cool plays, epic accuracy, but yeah, no good live play as of now.
They had been playing Osu since 2017, and by 2023, they were ranked within the top 200, which is already incredible.
Epic gaming,
then,
yes.
In early 2023, they seemingly became possessed. His gameplay went to the next level, and he suddenly developed mastery of skills he never had before. This allowed him to...
Ah, yes. The sudden speed boost. How gullible we all were. Just believing in the prodigy. Like, if Plasma tomorrow started setting speed scores with insane accuracy, you know, I would be a bit doubtful.
This allowed him to rise even further up the ranks, all the way to the podium. Unlike other top players, however, this person wasn't uploading any hand cams, and when they streamed, the noise from their keyboard was suspiciously absent. But people let it slide. I mean, this was a good player.
I think it was noise cancellation, to be fair.
For many years. Surely there was nothing to worry about. But alas, in June
Clueless! That's what I thought. Surely there's nothing to worry about. Clueless? And then... Oh man, we got fooled. We got fooled.
The community was shocked when a bombshell report was posted online detailing gameplay analysis that all but confirmed this person had been cheating for well over a year. In today's video, we will take a look at the biggest Osu cheating scandal in a decade, and yet another example of a very talented player who fell to the dark side. I really hope you enjoy.
This is interesting because this guy always makes videos about those. So he probably knows of other players in the gaming as well as the speedrunning community who were at the top and then decided to cheat to get even further. Man, that's kinda poetic. Thank you.
Before we begin, let's address the elephant in the room. The pronunciation of the name of the game. The official pronunciation is Os, as confirmed by the developer. But for this video, I'm going to...
Peppy with hair? Oh man! That's how you know that's an old video.
But for this video, I'm going to call it Osu, simply because it stands out more and it's easier to differentiate within sentences for people who aren't too familiar with the game. Osu separates itself from other rhythm games in a unique way. In a game like Geometry Dash, there is only one button.
Not a rhythm game, by the way.
The emphasis is entirely on how precisely you can time your inputs. In a game like Guitar Hero, timing is still important, but there is a bit more leeway. What makes Guitar Hero uniquely challenging is that there are 5 separate buttons you need to hit, and
this looks so intense. High-level Guitar Hero is incomprehensible for me.
Requires a large amount of finger dexterity. In Osu, the timing requirements are similar to that of Guitar Hero, where there is a window of frames that successfully count as a hit.
This gameplay I'm looking at is insane.
Your cursor needs to be inside a specific area of the screen, indicated by a small circle. So this creates 2 primary skill sets, input precision.
He thinks CS4 is small. Precision players? Do we agree? He doesn't even know, man. He doesn't know yet.
So this creates 2 primary skill sets, input precision and cursor accuracy, or aim. The game indicates when you need to time your inputs based on an enclosing outer ring. When the ring touches the circle, this indicates when you need to hit the button. The game allows you to program 2 different keyboard keys, which can be whatever you want as inputs. And you can hit whichever key you like. Some people like to primarily use one key for most of their inputs, while others like to alternate between the 2. You can
Plasma
use screen to control your cursor, but these days most top players use a pen and...
Hey, hold on. Did you say you can use a touchscreen?
Their inputs, while others like to alternate between the 2. You can use a mouse or touchscreen to control your cursor, but these days most top players use a pen and a tablet. When players get better at the game and want a greater challenge, they can choose to turn on certain gameplay modifiers that make the game harder. For example, the modifier Hard Rock makes the circles smaller, thus requiring greater aim. Double time increases the tempo, and the modifier hidden eliminates the timing rings and makes circles disappear shortly.
And it's something that should never ever be used. I'm sorry. That's something that's worth considering to all of you. And also, by the way, regarding hidden, I saw a very interesting post. Can an hidden player tell me if this is true? I'm honestly under the impression that this is not what the average hidden player looks like. Now, am I wrong on this? Or do we... Like, okay, this is most definitely Gerbsy, okay? That's the Gerbsy posture, there's no doubts on it, but who is this? Who is this in the Osu community? Sudi more like Booty, what the hell is going on in this pic, man? That's not what she looks like.
The best players seek to attain more performance points on each map by turning on most or all of these modifiers and achieving the maximum amount of possible combos. In order to climb up the ranks, you
didn't say
need to be
PP
able to
yet.
score a higher amount of performance points on maps. But it's more about quality rather than quantity, as the ranks only consider your top 100 scores and uses a weighting system to determine your rankings. To
Far maps,
best, it's far better to spend your time
they are
doing
quality
really
indeed.
well on a smaller number of maps than grinding mediocre scores on as many maps as you can. Some maps are harder than others, and if a map is harder,
unless you're
you
also
can
for
score
20.
more performance points. The two main variables that determine difficulty is the physical distance between each successive circle and the amount of hits required within a certain time. Circles that are very far apart require bigger jumps, and this really tests a player's ability to aim. And if there are more objects that need to be hit in a short amount of time, this tests a player's ability to hit quickly. These two variables are very distinct skills, called aim and speed, and usually top players specialize in one or the other. These two specialties result in entire maps being focused on one skill or the other. For example, here is a top aim player, Whitecat, playing a map that is primarily based around
Oh, we
aim.
are back. Oh, copyright, no.
Scytho playing a map that is focused on speed.
And there it is. Sidetrack Day 8-bit. Hey, we gotta allow it, man. We've got to allow it.
In rare cases, players can be really good at both, like the top-ranked player Mrek, but generally, players have a well-defined preference. Tapping speed is an interesting skill, and in my 25 years
yes! I feel like Arisin right now. Oh, that's good. Giving attention to Arisin too. The OG, the GOAT. He invented speed in 1986. Maybe only beat by Ninerik, but that's really about it. The GOAT, forever.
Have a well-defined preference. Tapping speed is an interesting skill, and in my 25 years of speedrunning, I've found that people either usually have the gift of fast tapping, or they don't. Some people are just built to tap, and if you...
No, it's genetics! Oh no, it's been confirmed. It's been confirmed by the mainstream media. It's all genetics. Oh no, you either have it or you don't, guys. Never give up, I swear to God. I know you've been practicing speed for the past 3 years and you still can't do 230, but I swear to God, everything is achievable, you just gotta believe. Never give up.
Some people are just built to tap, and if you aren't designed in a specific way, it's very hard to compete with someone who is. One such player who was seemingly not designed to tap quickly was a player known as cloutiful.
Okay, that's the link. I see.
Years, for example, Epic Gaming or Chudsun.
So Mr. Epic Gaming was born with the aim genetics.
Cloutiful began playing Osu in 2017, and over the years it became clear that he was an extremely gifted player specializing in aim maps. By 2021,
talent?
he had climbed into the
He
top
practiced,
200,
man.
where he remained for the next 2
Surely.
years. For 6
No such
whole
thing as
years,
talent in
Cloutiful
Osu, come
was
on.
known as an aim player, and he was genuinely good. But in 2023, something changed. Seemingly out of nowhere, Cloutiful learned how to tap. Suddenly, he was submitting extremely high scores for speed maps. Somehow, some way, Cloutiful had evolved, and over the next year, he would use this newfound skill to rise through the ranks, to almost the very top of the world. Tapping in Osu is much more sophisticated than the normal kind of tapping you would see in something like speedrunning. The most common type of tapping is called jitter tapping. This is where you tense your forearm.
This is terrifying.
Your entire arm to vibrate.
This looks like you're gonna get injured very quickly if you do this.
When I covered the first damageless run of Ninja Gaiden, I mentioned that in order to kill the final boss without taking a hit, you need to rapidly tap the buttons at around 15 presses per second. And using this
rookie numbers.
15 presses per second is really, really fast. But it's not the fastest way to tap, nor is it the most precise if you don't need to hit both buttons at the same time. Osu allows you to use any two buttons, and if you use an alternating finger technique, you can not only reach speeds of 20 presses per second and beyond,
Look at
but you can do
Xylis.
it in a way that is a lot more controlled and precise. This is called streaming, and to do it really well requires a ton of practice and a ton of talent. In contrast to
No, come on, that's not true, Carl. Everybody can learn how to stream. God damn it, man. Oh, this guy, you are scaring the new players. God damn it. The mainstream audience now thinks that streaming is all talent. Everybody can learn how to stream, I can assure you of that. Well, obviously it depends on the BPM, I suppose. Like, not everybody can stream 300, I don't think, but come on. Come on now.
In contrast to jitter tapping, which requires maximum tension in the wrist and arm, streaming requires a relaxed technique. This is because speed maps generally force you to stream constantly, and if you have too much tension in your hand, you'll fatigue far too quickly.
You will die.
Before 2023, Cloutiful never demonstrated a high skill level when it came to streaming. He focused entirely on aim maps, which is why in hindsight it's almost too obvious how strange it is that basically overnight he completely switched his specialty to speed. It was in March of 2023 that Cloutiful suddenly became a speed god, and quickly started rising through the ranks. By March 2024, 1 year later, he had risen to number 5 in the world, and by June he had hit number 3, and who knew just how far he would have gone if fate didn't intervene. Despite his rapid rise, Cloutiful didn't raise any suspicions.
It was all working until Sipho decided to make Snow Goose. How insane is that, actually? It's almost kind of poetic, beautiful how Sipho was Cloutiful's friend and he ended up being his demise. He flew way too close to the sun with those two plays. Actual cinema, man.
Cloutiful didn't raise any suspicions, and there were a few good reasons for this. He was a very trusted player who had been in the community for many years. In fact, prior to 2023, he very often streamed on Twitch with full hand cam, showing everything. So the effect of doing this previously meant that...
I actually did not know this. I didn't know he actually streamed with hand cam before. I mean, to be fair, he was one of those players who had no viewers despite being very, very good. Which is unfortunately a common case in the Osu community. Like, there's so many top players, even top 100, who stream and have 10 viewers or even less. He was probably one of them.
It was only in 2023, after he began his rapid rise through the top 100, that he started to stream without hand cam. This in of itself isn't too suspicious, but again in hindsight it all makes sense. He was also very active within community discords, and was very friendly with many of the other top players. But there did come a turning point. There was a moment in time that eyebrows everywhere became raised. In mid-June 2024,
Snow Goose
performed a high score on the map Snow Goose. That was insane. It
wasn't
insane because it was the highest score ever on that map, which it wasn't, but rather more because it could have been. And it could have been by a huge margin. Cloutiful missed a few notes before the end section, but if he hadn't, it was possible to achieve a score of over 2,000 performance points. To put that into context, the highest ever score to date on any map is 1,711 performance points by a Colibed, set last year. What's even more alarming about this performance is that it was done live, and Cloutiful's reaction is honestly...
Oh no!
What is that you are? Excuse me? Excuse me? What the I'm cheating. I'm literally cheating. I'm literally f***ing cheating. I'm unironically cheating. I'm f***ing cheating.
Man, I'm just imagining someone who hasn't played Osu, isn't familiar with the game, just watching this video and thinking, Okay, so this guy came out of nowhere and learned a new skill set in this game. He streamed with no handcam after streaming previously with handcam. He set a score and started shouting, "I'm cheating, I'm ironically cheating." How dumb are Osu players? Like, all the red flags were there, but even I was in denial, man. I didn't want to believe it. But, man, in hindsight, it's easy to say, but so crazy. So crazy. Especially with those community connections. We thought it was legit.
It's hard to know exactly what he was thinking here. Obviously, Cloutiful thought that by saying he was cheating in such a brazen way, it would make others less suspicious. But his tactic evidently failed. Because after this, people immediately began examining his replays. And it didn't take long before someone discovered that something about Cloutiful's inputs was very
63 coming.
One day after his 2000 PP choke, a user by the name of Child Fangirl posted a report to the subreddit Osu Report.
Man, they must ruin all the fun.
About suspicious
they are ruining all the fun.
Child Fangirl used software to analyze Cloutiful's replays and get exact information about how long he was holding down his keyboard inputs. In their report, they showed that
yeah, everything about this case is insane. Even the nickname Child Fangirl. What I think that was referring to was the Osu player Child. You guys know that guy? Oh man, that's an old name. I don't even think... Okay, do I really wanna Google Child Osu? Probably not. There we go, Child. Multi-account cheating.
Cloutiful had a very weird hold time distribution. This is the length of time a key is pressed and held in milliseconds. The graphs showed a huge spike around the 63 milliseconds, which is not normal. Other players showed a much more standard bell curve in their hold times. It's just not feasible for a human to be this constant and precise with their hold times, which naturally indicates that there is likely some illegal software being used to press inputs. This is why in the original report, they suggested the cause of this anomaly could be the use of a bot which would hit inputs for you. A day after this first report was dropped, a software engineer known as Minisbat developed her own analyzer that would go a step further and distinguish hold times for each individual key. This showed that it was only one of the keys that exhibited this inhuman precision. And from here, it didn't take long for people to replicate these suspicious hold times, using custom settings on a Wu-Ting keyboard, the exact keyboard that Cloutiful owned and used.
Damn. Oh man, when that Osu report came out, I started a stream called Cloutiful Did What? And Cloutiful was in chat the entire time. And I was trying to justify it in every way imaginable. That's crazy to think back on right now.
Wu-Ting is a keyboard brand that is extremely popular amongst top Osu players.
Hashtag ad. Hashtag ad.
For rhythm games like Osu that rely heavily on precise and fast input timing.
It's a great keyboard.
The keyboards come with software that allows you to adjust the way they function. In order to replicate the hold time distribution shown in Cloutiful's replays, they needed to drastically change the way the keyboard functions. The primary key remained the same, but the secondary key's function was reversed. When you pressed down on the key, nothing happened. But when you released the key, that's when it registered a hit. It would then release the input by itself when the key reaches the top. So this 63 millisecond timing that was so common is the time it took for the key to go from being pushed down to being back to a neutral position, which is obviously going to be very consistent based on the mechanics of the keyboard. Philosophically, this is a problem for two reasons. One, it completely changes how a keyboard should work and how a keyboard is intended to work normally. And two, the ultimate effect that there are two distinct actions.
That's the thing. To all the coping fellas who were saying, if we ban DKS, we should also ban Rapid Trigger. DKS just generates an extra input where normally there would not be an input. That's not really the same as Rapid Trigger, I fear, but... Oh man, I wonder if there's any other people nowadays that actually still say or think that, or if it was just a cope in that moment.
changes how a keyboard should work and how a keyboard is intended to work normally. And 2, the ultimate effect is that there are 2 distinct actions with a single stroke. Normally, you would need to both press down to activate and release upwards to deactivate.
I know many people in my chat are experts when it comes to stroking, that's for sure.
Activates and deactivates the key automatically. If this were allowed, you could use the same logic to apply the same settings on the downstroke as well, where a downstroke would both hit and release in one motion, as well as the upstroke. This would allow you to tap twice as fast with a single finger without doing anything differently. And in practice, using 2 keys...
I'm dynamic stroking my shit, man.
Using 2 keys, activating on different strokes, does effectively allow you to tap twice as fast. Now, instead of jitter tapping maxing out at around 15 presses per second, you can just tap 2 fingers at the same time, and your tapping speed is now 30 presses per second with no extra work. Even though using these settings perfectly replicated Cloutiful's hold time distribution, people at first assumed it wasn't possible this feature was used. This was due to the fact that you need to hold down a button for longer periods in order to hit sliders, which are these snake-like objects. You need to hit them when the slider begins.
Oh,
the snakes! Hold the button down while you follow
and the worms
the end.
for
so
streams.
If you can't hold the button down, this presents a problem. But this was a massive initial oversight, because this is only a problem if you intend to use the secondary key for sliders. If you only use the primary key for most inputs, and just use the secondary key when streaming, it works perfectly fine. Naturally, after this bombshell report...
Honestly, I still think it takes much more effort to cheat like this, compared to somebody who just submits a replay or edits a replay or whatever. That's why he was uncaught for a very long time. I haven't tried playing like this with DKS, and I'm not at the skill level to be able to do it really. But I know Emrek did. He FC'd no goose on the second try or whatever it was with more than 98.5.
Naturally, after this bombshell report was released, the community wanted Cloutiful to show his gameplay live with full hand cam, so they could see what's really going on. Cloutiful would delay this for several days, saying that he wasn't feeling well. However, in the meantime, he did jump into a Discord call with a user by the name of AOS, who sent Cloutiful some software, hoping to test his input timings.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Really simple.
I didn't know that piece of lore.
All Cloutiful had to do was stream using various key combinations, and the software would record the input timings for each, to see if this happened on every key combination, or just the one he used to play Osu. And despite the simple test, Cloutiful couldn't do it. He failed or refused to follow basic instructions. Numerous times his mouse left the screen during tests, and many times he came up with excuses as to why he suddenly had to leave, including being called by his mum multiple times.
Oh.
No, I'm just being cold.
What? How did I miss this? How did I miss this piece of lore? What? What the hell? AOS is a TikTok live relax cheater, by the way. Cinema! Cinema! What is going on? How did I miss this? Nobody mentioned this during the whole ordeal. Did not see a tweet. Oh, God.
To leave, including being called by his mum multiple times.
No, I'm just being cold.
Oh, no.
Wait, I need to make sure my mom's like telling me. My mom keeps getting in my room. Wait, I'm sorry for like sussing you out. My mom's like calling me again, dude. I'm actually like sorry. Wait, 1 second.
Oh, the panic. Oh, no.
And whatever. Like, it's gonna look sus. But I'm like, I don't know.
No, we just trying to work.
And he even says, I know this will look sus. Oh, no. Oh, God. I cannot imagine being cloutiful and seeing this on the big YouTube screen. From a guy with over 1 million subs, 700,000 views in a day. Your most embarrassing moment, basically. God. God, this is painful. How long does this go for? Okay, very few seconds.
The entire call was very, very strange. Finally, 3 days later, Cloutiful did upload some gameplay with handcam to his YouTube channel. The video showed everything you would want to see, from the computer being turned on, to all of the software he was running, to the keyboard settings, to his gameplay in action. But it was immediately obvious something was off about his keyboard inputs. Cloutiful wasn't streaming during streams. In other words, his fingers weren't alternating as they should be. His fingers and hands were fixed in place, and he was using finger tapping. It was clear as day that he was hitting both inputs at the same time, but when you looked at his inputs on screen, they were clearly alternating. Something was...
I remember when the live play first dropped, I was in bed, okay? So I was loosely following, just looking at my Discord and Twitter. I wasn't watching the Eduardo stream, the famous Eduardo stream. Goddamn time zones, man. If only I was live at that moment. Oh, we would have made history, I tell you what. But I remember as soon as the live play dropped, there were already like tens of, possibly even 100 comments saying, oh, I knew you was my goat. I know you weren't cheating. BTFO, haters. And then, you know, give it 10 minutes where people actually watch the video and it's like, oh, wow, this is a piece of shit live play. Wow. And next thing you know, he deletes his own live play. Insane, man. Absolutely insane.
Something wasn't adding up. Between his live gameplay attempts, Cloutiful showed the routing software, and according to the profile he was using, his settings appeared normal, but some keen eyes who were familiar with the routing keyboard and how it worked immediately spotted some shenanigans. His software listed 4 different profiles, which is normal. However, he only showed the very first one, and by default, if you want to switch profiles, you press the function and enter keys at the same time. And lo and behold, after playing the game for the first time, and before showing his keyboard settings, he pressed function and enter to switch profiles.
Bruh! At least change the bindings, dude. Man, I know it was over already, okay? Because, I mean, the second he would have started the map, you would have seen he was double tapping anyway, but... Man... Oh, that was messed up, this live play.
And then when he closed the
also, cool background music.
Before he started playing, he switched profiles again. As soon as this video was posted online, it became evident Cloutiful was cheating. And after only an hour, Cloutiful removed the video and scrubbed his entire YouTube channel and social media profiles.
Man.
Later that day, Cloutiful confessed that he was in fact cheating by changing
Plasma shoutout? Plasma Twitter shoutout? To a big audience, they're gonna go to his Twitter and just find, this cup of coffee never spills. We did it. Plasma on top. He deserves it. He deserves it.
Settings, and was soon after banned from the ranks. Immediately after all of this came to light, there was some minor debate about whether or not changing the way the keyboard functions was in fact cheating, or if Cloutiful even thought that what he was doing was wrong. The creator of the keyboard even defended Cloutiful's actions on their Twitter account, though this was rescinded almost immediately after they were educated on why it was cheating. Whether or not Cloutiful thought this was wrong is pretty obvious. He lied and said he wasn't using it, and then uploaded a video trying to deceive people even further. These aren't the actions of someone who didn't know that it was cheating. Once again, another top player ends up disgraced because they didn't appreciate what they had. I will say this again because it bears repeating. Cloutiful was a really good player. When it comes to pure aiming talent, he is definitely one of the world's best. 99.9% of Osu players would kill to have the same skill that he has, and yet for him, it wasn't enough. Cloutiful is still young though, so ultimately this might have been a great lesson to learn, and best learn it now before the consequences truly matter. A big thanks to Plasma, Tyler, and Scytho for chatting with me about the game. Thank you so much for watching, you legends. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next video.
Pretty cool. Pretty fair. You can definitely tell he needed help to really describe the game and give it a fair spin. He did not slack on it, okay? He did actually do research and he asked people for help, especially people who were close to Cloutiful, Scytho, Plasma and whatnot. I think it was nice enough. It was a good reconstruction of everything. So, pretty good video, Karl Jobst. I was unfamiliar with your game, my friend, but that was a pretty good video overall. This is definitely blowing up, man. This was uploaded yesterday or 2 days ago. It's already at 1,000 views. I don't know if this is average for him.
Hello, you absolute.
This did better than the Rubik's Cube scandal and whatever glitch he was talking about in Castlevania. Is it fair to say we are popping off right now? This could be... I'm pretty sure, I'm confident this will get 1 million views. Okay? Like, no doubts on that. So, this could be a pretty huge video, man. Very nice. Very, very nice, man.